So this has been an interview long in the works. It took many emails back and forth, but I'm glad that we were able finally to get this done. It's been something on my mind. I have a lot of questions to ask. So with no further ado, I would like to introduce to everyone here. He's the co-owner of Flipside. He's defensive tackle for the Indianapolis Colts. He's a father, a husband, and he's about the same age as me, so he's a constantly reminder that
what are you doing with your life?
What am I doing here? It is Ricky Lumpkin, everyone. Ricky Lumpkin, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing really good. Speaking of being a father and husband, both of my girls are asleep, so I actually get a little me time, and I'm able to talk to y'all and play some games.
That's awesome. Sleep on noon on Sunday, huh?
Hey,
That's
don't hate it. Don't hate it.
That's the life.
Long night.
So I want to kind of get in here then, because like you have a lot of titles behind your name. How did you go from pro NFL player to co-owner of Flipside? Because I remember watching you on Twitch so I saw, a professional NFL player. I think I saw someone post something on Reddit, and then I started watching you, and then next thing I know, you're co-owner of Flipside.
It was actually pretty crazy. First, the whole story is I started streaming because a couple of my friends were like, "Oh, you should stream. People would love your stream because you're really real and you speak your mind and you don't hold back and you're competitive, and plus you play football." I'm like, all right, I guess. So I got into streaming, started playing with a couple of friends, Ken Tatman and Hiko and some of my old friends IRL and people I played with for a while, and football started up, all that worked out, and I ended up going to the MLG event for CSGO where I met the other owners of Flipside. Nothing happened there. We're just chilling, talking the whole time. Hit it off. Felt like I'd known them for a couple of years. And went to two other majors where we ran into each other all the time, still relaxing, talking. And the third major we met him at, I remember the first time I told him, like, I want to get into eSports when I'm done playing football and vice versa, get in there. And I want to own a team and get in the whole process. I love eSports. I love playing games. I remember playing Contra when it came out, when I was young enough that I can remember, as older than me, playing Mario Kart. Of course, everybody remembers GoldenEye, when there was definitely screen watching now was what it was called then. And next thing I know, we were sitting there talking, and they're like, we have an opportunity for you. All right, what's the opportunity? They said, would you like to become a co-owner of Flipside? I'm like, oh, for real?
that's more than an opportunity, I'd say.
Yeah.
But
I couldn't turn it down. I hit it off with them. I knew where they were at in the Counter-Strike scene, middle tier, not considered T1, but considered T2. But I saw the potential. I saw the owners. I knew that what they wanted to do with the team, and I trusted them, and they trusted me. And I said, look, I can help bring a certain aspect to the team that you can't get. I know what it takes to get to a high level. And I told him, I was like, I'm not a superstar. I'm not anyway famous, but I've somehow spent 6 years in the NFL. I've been in the league since 2010, so I know something about getting to the top. And I've played with guys that won Super Bowls, and I've broke this whole thing down to them. I was like, look, if you listen to me, I can help you. And it just took off. And ever since I've joined, the Counter-Strike team's improved in areas where now matter of fact, we got legend status from all the hard work from the players and management and everyone from the bottom to the top, meaning we're going to automatically qualify for the next $1 million major. And it feels good, and I'm happy. I can't complain, and I'm F3. The whole family's F3. We wear hats. Heck, I even wear the F3 jersey to the gym to work out in when I'm lifting weights. And people ask me all the time, what is that? And I break it down to them. And I've actually got a couple of other guys in the NFL interested in co-owning or owning a team.
Oh, wow. I was actually reading a story earlier this morning about some NFL franchises wanting to sign Madden players too. So it's kind of interesting to see the world start to overlap a little bit.
Oh, it was going to happen. It shocks people. And a lot of times in streaming, everyone's like, why aren't you working out? Oh, no wonder why the team sucks, because you're over here playing games. I'm like, y'all have no clue. We're regular people. Everyone plays games. who doesn't? Like, my
Yeah.
generation came up with Nintendo 64, the first PlayStation. Like, we played games. Like, everyone I know in the NFL plays games. They just don't play PC games. They don't stream because a lot of people don't know about it, or they're just not wanting to do it. But I said everyone plays games. Like, and plus, I'm human. I have off time. I don't want to lift weights 24/7.
The day's
I wanna get
24
in.
hours. There's,
Right.
I mean, you streaming at 10 o'clock at night does not mean that you didn't work out earlier. It's a long day.
Oh, it's funny. They crack some up. Why are you up? I'm like, I lift at 11 or I lift at 7. I can stream and stay up late if I want to. I'm grown. I know how to manage my time.
One thing then that I wanted to bring up, because you mentioned how Flipside, you know, tier 2, if maybe there was a tier between 2 and 1, I would say that they kind of fit there in the sense of, because people think Flipside, okay, they're not a top tier team. Okay, we get that. But they have qualified for every CSGO major. That has to say something then about the caliber of the organization, to where there's a lot of teams out there that wish they could be qualifying for all these majors. So as they poke fun with Flipside, that's something that they can hang on, you know, their wall, saying like, hey, we've qualified for everything, where there's some teams, I don't want to point fingers, Cloud9, but they haven't qualified for every major.
And I know guys on pretty much every pro NA team, and I get into it with people on stream because I don't care. We're going to speak our mind. There's a reason why you have to click that mature audiences button because we're going to talk. And people say, "Oh, y'all suck." I'm like, "Oh, we suck." I said, "But we've made every major." Well, you've made every major and got out. And just like you said, I'm like, well, there's a lot of top teams, tier 1 teams, even ones that are supposedly ranked ahead of us that don't even make every major. So what do you have to say about that?
I'm reminded of the Cloud9 interview in Nothing from Yahoo Esports last week, where the host, who had no idea what he was asking, asked Nothing why he was not at the $1 million major that was going on, but instead he was watching an LCS event. It's like, yeah, it's because Cloud9 did not qualify.
Yeah, like,
Very uncomfortable interview.
I bet that was really uncomfortable.
It was
I
so
don't know why he asked it.
so funny. So funny. And then, I mean, you mentioned now Flipside is legend status, so congratulations on that. What's the feeling like knowing that the organization, I mean, how do you think the players are feeling knowing that, hey, we have something to work for now? Like, you see the target because you already can mark that major on your calendar saying this is what we need to get ready for.
I think I think the players are handling it great. One thing I did tell them, because I wasn't able to attend, was I'm like, you got it now. Now you have to keep it. Can't be a flash in the pan, and we can't go back to just making majors and excellent group. Now we have legend status. You got to keep legend status. It's not going to be an easy event, and especially this one was even bigger because if you look at the next qualifying, the teams that are out that have to be in it it's going to be hard. That's basically 2 majors in a row. Whoever's in the last chance qualifier to qualify for the major. There's a lot of top 10, top 5 teams in that category, and it being one of them because we took the legend status from them. So the boys know what they have to work for. I believe in them. I trust them. And they finally got that taste. I think the only other one, actually the only player we had that's ever got out of group stage until now was Markaloff.
And then everybody else is new.
Feeling for.
Well, then
Everyone else is like, what? We're out of group?
You got World
So now
Edit
they have-
setting records now in E-League, too. I mean, you guys are kind of starting to click on several different fronts for this.
Yeah, we are. And the sad thing is, you bring up E-League, is we literally just got eliminated out of the E-League, which was a shocking 2-0 defeat the Renegades. And some people say, oh, you were jet lagged and this and the other. But at the end of the day, you can't have any excuses. You lose, a loss is a loss, and a win is a win. You have to show up and play the game. They showed up and played and beat us. We showed up and lost. So that's how I see everything in esports and in the world of my sport, football. There's no gray area. A loss is a loss, a win is a win.
Branching off of E-League then, since we brought it up, I know you tweeted some on the decision of removing LG and SK Gaming from the league, and at the time everybody wanted E-League's head. Like, they were the enemy, and you were one of the few tweets that I saw that kind of leveled things out, saying, when you look at it from a distance, it makes sense. I mean, did you want to break that down a little bit on how you saw their decision to remove those two organizations?
Yeah, I can break it down to the best of my ability where I won't confuse people. I see it as they see when we compare it to football is what I play. And some people want to say, oh, you can't compare it to this, that, and the other. But I'm like, well, you have to look at what you're trying to do with Counter-Strike. Everyone, including me, wants Counter-Strike to be considered a real sport. To be considered a real sport, you have to have rules and regulations. This is what you had to do with a roster. They broke those rules. Both teams did. They're both at fault. Everyone's at fault in this process. In all honesty, both orgs and players screwed themselves out of the tournament. LG entered the tournament. I think SK was also in the tournament, but they had their set 5. I think you were only allowed to have 5 players, and you had the 2 subs, and you traded your entire team to another roster that was out. E-League said no. That's like the Patriots making the Super Bowl. I said this in a tweet, and trading all their players to, let's say, the Titans, who didn't make the playoffs. But then all of a sudden, everyone expects, okay, since all the Patriots players are on the Titans are just going to go to the Super Bowl. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. LG had the spot. That's LG's spot. Just because they traded the players doesn't mean SK can just jump in and take off exactly where LG was. It doesn't make sense. If you want to be considered a real sport, if you still want to be considered a game among people in America that are watching it and they're like, what? That don't make sense. It doesn't work like that. The guys were on the team that made the playoffs. They should have stayed. I think they should have stayed the whole, just do E-League and be like, all right, after E-League, we'd leave. Because this wouldn't have happened.
And I don't disagree with you on that. Out of all the parties involved with this, I feel like LG was the one that got kind of screwed out of it, considering they didn't even know at the time that their roster signed with another organization back before MLG. So if anything, now LG is the one, the organization Luminosity is the one getting removed from the league, when at the time they really had no power over their team signing with SK.
Right. LG did end up taking that buyout though to let it all go. So they could have held on to the team a little bit longer, I think.
I think when they all look back and they see what happened, everyone's going to wish they would just wait till E-League is over, which is a huge tournament, especially in America, to get it out there and you get more publicity in America. And people are going to be pissed at me, this, that, and the other. But I'm just telling you what I know from playing professional sports is you can't do it. It doesn't look right, because if you allow one time, it's going to allow a lot, and they're going to nip it in the butt. But I did say if you did want to make it right some way, then fine. Then you give them, if they traded all their guys to SK, they take SK's spot. If SK was in the last chance qualifier, then they're in the last chance qualifier. But if they're not, they weren't in it at all, they get eliminated, then they're eliminated.
Right.
Then at the same time, LG forfeits their spot. At the end of the day, LG screwed no matter what, unless you're going to let them get players, but the players can't come from a team that's obviously in the tournament. You have to get guys outside of the tournament.
I think it was Tim mentioned while we were talking about that. The hard part with that is you start bending the rules like that, and you gotta start finding out when it's gonna stop, right? So I'm with you with the rule set. Like, they had this set rule, they broke it. Sorry about your bad luck. You know, read the contract next time, I guess, before you make a roster move like that. But
yeah, I agree with you 100%. I understood it, and people kept comparing about how, but there's trade deadlines and this, that, and the NFL and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, exactly. There's no trade deadlines in esports, but if you read a contract, it tells you when your roster has to be set. So why would you make a move?
That's always been that's one of my favorite parts about esports, and this is probably a function of it being such a new thing, but the community does have a lot of effect on, like, the organizations and the tournament organizers and stuff like that. So I was actually proud of E-League a little bit to kind of stick to their guns with this one and go by the rule book. It makes it a little more stable, I think, in the long run is good for esports like that.
Oh, I love it. I think it'll nip that in the butt, and you won't see it happen again, just like the whole gambling thing going on right now. I agree with everything Valve is doing. I agree with Twitch. I agree with the whole aspect. I agree with all that. I haven't sent a tweet out about it because I'm friends with a lot of streamers and whatnot, and I didn't want to argue with them over social media. But I can tell you I agree with every step Valve, Steam, CSGO, and Twitch has taken to stop gambling. And I can break that whole process down, but that might be for another time, but it's up to y'all.
I mean, it's your day. If you have the time, I would love to hear your take on that, because the gambling in CSGO walks the line of, does it affect esports or not? You have some people saying that, well, the only reason people watch CSGO is for the gambling, which that might be the case for 1%.
I mean, it was interesting to see actual CSGO gameplay at the top of the Counter-Strike Global Offensive channel on Twitch for a while, when the betting got banned officially, instead of Phantom Lord opening cases.
And the thing with the gambling is, what I'll say, the reason I'm happy about it is there's no rules and regulation to the age limit. I don't think it's a great example at all for you having 10-year-olds, 10 to 14, 15, even 16. I'll go all the way up to 17 because they're not legally 18, getting a bad habit of gambling, where they're just gambling. Okay, you can say it's virtual money, but to get virtual money, you have to spend real money. I personally know kids I played with a lot consistently that are in my Discord that go gamble like hundreds of dollars. I'm like, what are you doing? Or they're spending money to go buy cases, or they're spending money just to go buy that knife to try to up their odds. It's horrible. Like, you're setting a bad example for young teenagers that don't need to know that. That's why I never gambled on my Twitch. I never will gamble. I've been approached by gambling websites. And have I thought about it before? Yeah, because I thought about getting the skins to do a giveaway. But at the end of the day, I just was like, that's not right. I can't do it. There's too many kids out there that watch, and then they see it, and they're like, oh, I want to do it. Like, oh. And then you learn that some of them had rigged sites, so the whole time you're over here gambling thinking you're going to win, and you're actually never going to win. So I back it 100%. Now, if you can find a way to back it up where it's legalized, where you say Wild, Shuffle, or whatever website out there you have, they find a way to link your account to your Steam ID, but you have to put your social security number in or your driver's license number in, something you can't forge or fake to prove that you're of legal age, then I'm for it. Gambling's a part of sports, always will be a part of sports. I think it will come back in the CSGO where it's going to be able to be legalized, but it just has to be run the right way. And right now, it was like the Wild Wild West. Anyone and their brother could get in there and do it. And you had just little kids that were just being addicted to gambling that should not be addicted to it at all, because that's just horrible for them and their...
Uh-oh. Do we have you, Ricky?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I just stopped.
I thought it dropped. Okay. I think, and you've said the word, has to all be regulated in some way. And I think overall, the gaming industry and esports, it's one that it's a weird conversation where people are like, oh, this new thing, esports. Esports has been around technically since like Pong. Like, since someone got salty about losing at Pong, esports and competitive gaming was a thing, but it's just never been regulated in the sense of where now you have people E-League, for instance, has an actual commissioner to it. It's not just some guy who started a LAN center and decided to wing these rules out of nowhere. Everything has to somewhat be regulated in a way, and I feel like it's going to be a bumpy road, but it's going to be somewhere where esports has to take it. I mean, even when you start down to I'm interested on your take then with the broad title of player unions in esports.
I think there needs to be one. I think it'll be hard. It's just going to be difficult because of how broad it is. Every sport, there's 4 major sports in America, and every one of them has a player union. Just like the only worldwide really known big sport is football, European football, play everywhere, internationally, the whole nine. I don't know if they have a player union over there, but I think they should have one because there's so many tournaments and this, that, and the other. You can get things done with one, but it's just going to be a process. It's going to be a fill-out process. It's something new. And they'll all change around. And it's something they're all going to have to get used to. But that's the next step in esports as a players union. How will it work? How will it happen? I can't tell you because I know I won't be in it because I'm not a player. But I think they do need one when it comes down to rosters, wages, tournaments, the amount of tournaments, the amount of time it takes to travel from one tournament to the next. That's all going to come down to the player union and the tournament organizers. I think there are a lot of tournaments. I would love to see all of them be under one body, just like you have NCAA is the best example. Like you might have, let's just say it's called eSports, and they're all branched out, right? Just like the NCAA has 10 to 15 different conferences, but you still have Counter-Strike under eSports, but it has all the tournaments are run just by Counter-Strike, the game itself. The CSGO, Valve runs all of them. And you just have little branches off like bowl games. I think that would help out a lot because then everyone could be on the same page. Tournaments won't overlap. You won't have people flying overnight to another tournament to play one and flying all the way back home in a week. It's a lot. It's a lot of stress on their bodies and money.
And speaking of, I'm interested too with the flying and international play. Counter-Strike or esports, I should say, is unique in the sense of they do like one weekend they'll have a tournament in Atlanta, and then next week or even 5 days later, we'll look at Flipside. I think it was 5 days between being in Germany and then being back in Atlanta for E-League in a matter of 5 days.
I think that's crazy. But at the end of the day, you have to show up and play. That's what you do it for. But I think that'll get fixed down the road because that's going to become like that's between the tournament organizers and not overlapping and working with each other. But the chance of that happening is slim to none because everyone wants to make their money. So
every tournament thinks they're the most important tournament. Is what that boils down to.
Exactly. We're worth $1 million. Our tournament is going $1 million. Well, ours is going 1.4. Well, ours is 500, but we have this, that, and the other for player accommodations and blah, blah, blah. So it'll be interesting to say the least, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see how much esports grows and what's the whole back to the betting thing. I think it's going to take a little hit. Everyone's been talking about, without this, Counter-Strike is going to go dormant. No, it won't. It's just going to take a hit, but it'll come right back. You'll see. Like right now, I'm on Twitch and I'm looking. Counter-Strike is the second most viewed game. Right behind it is Mortal Kombat. Of course, League of Legends is the top dog at 120. Right now, Counter-Strike's at 68,000. So.
And that's saying something considering Mortal Kombat, that's EVO. I mean, that's the biggest fighting tournament there. And Counter-Strike is still up, which I assume is what? The iBuyPower Summer Invitational? Which is like tier 2.
Ladder.
That's like tier
right
2
now,
NA. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so even there. I mean, those aren't top tier teams playing in Counter-Strike, and yet it's still there. Counter-Strike was here before gambling. It's going to be here after.
Exactly.
So Ricky,
this is going to take a little hit.
You worked MLG Columbus, didn't you? You were volunteering for that tournament.
Yes.
What do you think about how much the players are playing on those long weekends like that where they're doing those tournaments? Like, how many hours did you see them putting in to compete in those?
It's an all-day thing. If you know or remember when you were a little kid, if you played baseball or AAU basketball, something like to that line where you might have multiple games. You're in there, you'll play. You have time to relax. You're not going to leave the arena. You'll go get some food. You'll go in your room. You'll sit down, chill. And you just go warm up for about an hour and a half. Then you go play again. It's an all-day thing. But if you win, you get to leave.
Right.
You get to get games over faster. So it's more incentive to where if you lose, of course, you're going to have a longer time there. So you got to take care of your business. I just know they put in a lot of hours, a lot of work. And you can tell majority of the teams that work harder and take their time. Like I was there. I'm not gonna say the teams, but I can see which teams and know why they were where they were at compared to the ones that were just a flash in the pan, or they could be better than where they are because of the preparation they took.
All right, so the reason I was asking, whenever we mention esports or that we are going to go watch a tournament or something, somebody's always asking us if we're going to play. We're like, no, we're not going to play because the amount of time these people have put in practicing and getting to where they're at is not something you can easily replicate or easily do. I was kind of curious of the comparison between what you see with esports players playing as long as they are with like your experience in football. Is there kind of some similarities between the practicing and playing there at all, or are they, putting in less, more?
There's definitely similarities. It's just it's going to sound weird to some people, especially like other athletes that are listening. There's a certain talent you have to play Counter-Strike. Like Counter-Strike's the main one I watch at a really, really high level. Not everyone can do it. I can't hit a Wendig to save my life. But you see all these other pro players doing it, or if they hit no scope. It all is talent. They practice, they put the hours in. You go look at their Steam profiles, they have 10,000 hours now. They have that. They have those. If you're only at 1,000, that's not a lot. Are you serious? Go look at the pro players' profiles. You can see how many hours they have in the game. It's just like how I sit there and I'm at practice all the time. I'm practicing 3-4 hours a day. I'm lifting 2 to 4 hours a day. I'm running an hour out of that lift. That's what I have to do, just like they're on. Even though they're streaming and they're playing matchmaking pugs or rank S, they can be goofing around. But the thing is, they are literally working at their craft at the same time, keeping skills sharp, even though they're playing around with friends or whatever. That's still helping them out. Like, I don't lift for fun. I can go out there and hit bags and goof around and teach some little kids I do. But at the end of the day, I'm still working on it because I'm not going to go out there and embarrass myself. So it's really similar.
And since we're on the conversation of practice and prepping, I have one last real question here so we don't keep you too long. When we're on the discussion, and you might have a unique outlook on this, like you do really, because you live both sides of traditional sports, esports. You also live on both sides of NA versus EU Counter-Strike, because you are North American, and I know you are fans of a lot of North American teams, and yet you're co-owner of a predominantly Ukraine team. Where do you sit in that debate? Is there any difference between NA and EU preparation? I know some people say it's because the talent pool here is so big.
It's not the talent pool. I think it's more of.
I mean, is the comparison even warranted between NA or EU? Because I mean, now Liquid is, they made it to a finals. That's something.
You can say play style in a way, because then you can look at Liquid's coach. He's from Brazil. He helped what is now SK get to where they're at. They had Simple, who was a Ukrainian player. I think it's more play style than anything. When you look at our play style, we would do some random, which helped Liquid out. We'll do some random stuff where you just look and it's like, that's an American. That wasn't real American. Where the Europeans are a lot more conservative. They don't really push here and there unless you're Virtus Pro. There's a lot of times you'll see us push smokes a lot, and it's just the American play style. It's more play style. I don't think it's anything with talent. There's plenty of talent in NA. It's just meshing it and the cohesion. I think the Europeans just have better cohesion, and they have better teamwork overall, and they don't make the mistakes that we make. But the talent, no, not at all. There's plenty of talent. Talent is not a problem. It's just the cohesion part and working together and sticking together and believing in each other. That's what it comes down to.
Well, man, that's awesome. I thank you again then for taking your time out of your Sunday for doing this. I know we've been emailing back and forth and some failed attempts, but I'm glad that we were able to do this today. I guess what's next then for you, or what's next for Flipside? I guess when does camp start for the Colts? That's got to be coming up.
Yeah, I have 9 days left. This is my last week.
We got in the interview just in time.
Yeah, you got to get that.
I could do more of them actually during camp, and it's easier to talk during camp because I have time off, and it's just going to be me. Like this is going to sound bad, but my wife and baby aren't going to be with me. I'll just have an hour, 2 hours off, and it's easy to do it then. Because like I said, I can't go anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. So it's really simple. But
what's the streaming situation going to be? We got a gaming laptop?
I have a gaming laptop I gave to my wife. I have my main gear computer that they sent me that I stream with. My streaming computer I can also play games on. It's a little box, so I could take that with me. I'll try that, but if not, I found out how to stream from my phone. So I'm going to try to stream from my phone here and there just to stay in contact with everybody on Twitch. And everyone's like, oh, you should just use Periscope. I'm like, no. If I can stream to Twitch, I'll use Twitch.
Yeah,
that's
get that.
Where it all.
So what you do then, I'm just throwing this out there, tape your phone to your helmet and then stream on Twitch. That's next level.
If it breaks, will you buy me? If it breaks, you have to buy me.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll buy you a new phone for the sake of that experiment.
Yeah, we'll take it out of the show budget. Don't worry.
It's like the ghetto GoPro. You just tape your cell phone to your helmet and then you're good to go.
Just go. That'd be nice, especially like over Twitch. Like, oh my God, that'd be. I wouldn't. That wouldn't last. Probably that wouldn't last through individual.
Do they? Do they have a pro football channel on Twitch yet? You could start a whole new channel.
That would be really nutty. That might. The chance of that happening is going to be we will be long gone and turned to dirt if that ever happens. That'd actually be really fun to have. Like if you had a channel like that where you just had GoPros or something and you could see from a player's perspective during practice or a game.
Yeah,
that'd be actually pretty cool. But that'd be hard to do, and all kind of big bucks at Twitch and the NFL and all the sports would have to work with each other on. And let's just say that'd be really hard to happen in general, but it'd be fun. That would be actually pretty cool. That's what I'm going to stream from my phone, especially like if I'm in an apartment or whatever, and people get to see some things that go on, not everything, but they can see like the living situation. And this is what our rooms look like for training camp. You know, this is what I have here. I'm on a little single bed. At home, I have a king, but now I'm on a single. So, it's going to be interesting to give people a different perspective, especially on Twitch and that Periscope, because, again, everyone that watches me on Twitch, so you got to stream to Twitch.
And it's going to be a different world. I mean, there are some people, oddly enough, who probably only know you from Twitch and Counter-Strike and Overwatch.
Oh, very true. Very true. And it'll be interesting for them to see. There's a lot of guys that some of my subs, and I'm shocked to have 104 subs now. They're like, oh, I didn't even know you play football. I'm like, that's good. I don't tell people I play football unless they ask. It don't bother me whether you ask me all the football questions or not. Like, I just love playing games. I'll answer anything you want. So it's like I have an open door policy in my channel. And if you've been there, you know it's always AMA. People ask me all kind of things.
It's great.
20 times.
It's great. I mean, I stare at your face on a nightly basis, Ricky. We can get weird on this one.
You definitely know how intense I can be, and I can tell you, I'd say it right now, I'm probably the most competitive person on Twitch.
Yeah,
There's not anybody.
You know it's rough when you go silent, and that's how you know it's real.
I go silent and I just try to shake my head just in disbelief.
The other day, I don't know, and I don't want to keep you too long. The other day, I was watching you play Rocket League, and you had one guy on your team that had 0 points like 3 minutes into the game, and it was rough because I know the feeling. Like,
yeah, and I think I said something to him. I was like, I can't do it. And I just switched. I think I just turned it off one time. Like I told y'all, if you leave the goal open again without rotating and talking to each other, I'm going to show you exactly what's going to happen. I started streaming iRacing, and I play with them all the time. And I told you, we had this conversation. Communication is key. Like, if you're not going to talk, I'm not going to play. I'm going to go play iRacing. Something to calm me down because, if I mess up in that, it's 100% my fault. And I love iRacing.
That's great. That's why I like fighting games, because it's just on me. I don't have to yell at teammates. If I suck at it, it's because I suck. And that's good. Real quick.
Oh, I'm bad.
Real quick, one thing, though, before we let you go, I have to get this from you. It's basically a radio liner. It's an audio autograph, if you will. if I could, can I just have you state who you are? So, I'm Ricky Lumpkin or whatever. And you're listening to TCR.
I'm Ricky Lumpkin, and you're listening to TCR.
Awesome. Thank you.
That was
You're
beautiful.
Professional. It's almost like you do it for a living.
Right?
So again, we can catch you if any of our listeners are interested. Twitch.tv/lump, right? That's /lump.
Correct.
All right. It's not Lump TV anymore. So
Nope.
they got that. That's how you know you're big deal, when you can get your screen name switched on Twitch.
I've actually had it switched 3 times.
Whoa. That's how you know it.
This guy.
He knows someone in the front office, that's for sure. Because if you make, normally Twitch is like, so I'm sorry, you made that spelling mistake and you will live with it. So twitch.tv/lump and on Twitter @Ricky Lumpkin, oddly enough.
And that's perfect. And you'll hear my daughter just now waking up.
Oh, perfect timing. Well then, Ricky, it was awesome talking with you today. I appreciate it. I wish Flipside nothing but the best, and we'll have to do this again sometime down the road, okay?
Anytime, I'm saving your number. So
Awesome,
you have
man.
mine saved.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. You have a good one.
All right, Lumpkin. Have a good one, man.
Thank you. Bye.